Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. So today we got a bit of confirmation regarding the future of MK1. Now I just want to apologize before I get into it. I'm sick right now, so if my voice sounds weird and you hear any sniffles or coughs throughout the video, I do apologize. I'll try to edit most of them out, but just wanted to get that out of the way. So we got a bit of confirmation from the official Mortal Kombat 1 Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, account, and it more or less confirms more is coming to MK1. Now, don't get your hopes up. I don't think it'll be anything too substantial. They've already confirmed earlier this year that the content cycle is over in terms of DLC characters, another story mode coming. Some people thought that was a chance. Those things will not be happening, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you feel about the game. But it looks like there will be some gameplay changes coming at the very least. So I'll pop it up for you here. We look forward to players showcasing their skills at the highest level at this year's EVO 2025 tournament. Soon after, we'll be releasing some exciting changes for Mortal Kombat 1. As always, we'd love to hear your feedback from the community on potential changes. Stay tuned for more. So you can see here, they don't give away all that much. All they say is just exciting changes coming. And considering they're waiting until after EVO, I basically believe every change they're talking about is just gameplay related, because otherwise they wouldn't have to wait until after EVO. They're waiting until after this event because it's pro players playing, and if they put out an update with new gameplay features like buffs, nerfs for certain characters, people wouldn't have time to adjust to that before the tournament, and it just wouldn't be fair. So it makes sense to leave it after. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean there won't be any changes that are outside of the gameplay area of the game. But for me, I've sort of grown to become very disappointed with this game in terms of updates. So when they say exciting changes, I don't think any of these will actually be outside of buffs, nerfs. Maybe if we're lucky, some characters might get some new moves. That would be pretty cool as well. But I don't really see a world where they add in certain features that need to be added. Some people were asking for things like lobbies, like rooms, and I agree. I think that those should be added. I don't think that is too out there. I've long been asking for slots to actually save our costumes instead of having to randomize them, because you get some really ugly combinations that just shouldn't exist. So I feel like being able to save these costumes that a lot of us have spent actual money on would be a good idea. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're going to do that, but things like those two there would be a cool option. It would also be cool to see more options for the Towers of Time, like more skins and stuff being added to the game, as well as gear. Again though, don't think it's going to happen. I think it will specifically just be for characters like Havoc and maybe Homelander, T-1000. They might get some nerfs. Smoke, maybe he might get some buffs, same with Tanya and Peacemaker. You never know what they're going to do, NetherRealm, but yeah, I think most of these changes will probably be just on the gameplay, but hopefully I'm wrong. I would love to see some changes to the game itself to make it a bit nicer to play. Then we have this from Ed Boon, saying the next patch being final is highly unlikely. Now, this was in response to Super, which I'm sure a decent amount of you know who Super is. He's a very big Mortal Kombat YouTuber, the biggest one I actually think, and he put out a video talking about this, news from the Mortal Kombat page that I just showed you previously. And in the video, he basically claimed that this was likely the final patch, and Ed Boon responded saying this to that. So we have confirmation here that this update won't be the last one. Now, in saying this, Ed Boon did say that this would be their longest supported game ever, and that wasn't the case. However, I do think that they planned for it to be, and Warner Bros. Just sort of shut it down. That's what my assumption is. I don't think Ed would intentionally lie. I don't think he has misled people intentionally. So I'm going to choose to believe him on this instance. And maybe they knew from the start that this would be the last DLC, and they just meant support in terms of character changes, buffs, nerfs, maybe until the end of this year or until the Legacy Collection comes out. Who knows, we could be getting updates until their next game comes out, which I assume is probably going to be Injustice 3, so maybe that's why they're working on this game until you know, a little bit longer than usual because they want to make it as balanced and fair as possible. Now, if it is just gameplay, I think that's pretty disappointing considering the game is still pretty unfinished, I would say. Like, a game that's been out for nearly 2 years, it is still really unfinished. There's basic features that aren't there. I've actually made a video on this. I think it was called How to Save Mortal Kombat 1, something like that. I made it a while ago, that's why I can't remember the exact title, but if you want to check that out, feel free to search for it on the channel. You'll be able to find it. I think you'll enjoy the video, but either way, I think that this game's still missing really basic features. Once again, being able to save your costumes, that's, you know, a very basic feature. It was in MK11. There was only 5 slots. I think they should add at least 10, like maybe up to 15 or 20 would be good. Rooms and lobbies still aren't there. This is particularly good for YouTubers. Now, I'm not a big enough YouTuber to be able to have like a full lobby or a lobby in general to be able to play the game with, but big channels, you know, should be able to play games against their viewers, but it's just not possible right now in terms of like a lobby. So it is just a bit of an annoying process, and it's just smaller changes that I think should be added. Like, I personally think that 3 more towers should be added to the Towers of Time, because now the back row is just empty, because it was for new character trials for the DLC characters, but there aren't any more now. So I feel like they should add in like some towers to the back there. They should add a tower where you don't have a cameo, because some people don't like the cameo, so maybe they could just have a tower to play. Obviously, you know, a mode with no cameos would be ideal, but that's not going to happen. And I think overall they just need to add in some more gear, more customization. I don't think this will happen at all. We might be lucky and get some new skins and maybe new gear, probably more palettes, but maybe not new, like brand new skins. Either way, let me know what you guys think of this. I assume it'll just be gameplay changes, but let me know. Hope you all have a great day, and hopefully I'll see you in the next Mortal Kombat video.